It is a world of darkness. The sin of Cain has spawned the cursed horror that stalks the night in search of living blood. The kindred have long been a secret influence through all ages of human history, plotting against each other in a never-ending jihad. Their immortal progeny are among us to this day, hidden from the eyes of humanity by an elaborate masquerade.
Like they sort of disappeared from game a little bit.
Tuesday.
Paladin.
Ah, they're around.
We were comparing resources.
Resources? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, just the stats?
The stat, yeah.
Okay. I was beginning to think, hang on a second. Why would you consider Paladin a resource? I mean, true, they can offer plenty of stuff, but every time people interact with them, they come away thinking they've been dirtied or put down or whatever have you.
Yeah.
Lots of complaints.
Maybe they just need to get to know them better.
Getting to know you. Getting to know you. Hey, I mean, Isadora tried to offer the olive branch and she got told that she was a ghost gun. So, I mean...
Well, she talked to the exact wrong person about that thing.
Yep.
Of all the vampires.
She was trying to show him that he had a secret entrance and whatnot, and he was just.
Maybe she could have just called him on the phone and told him that way.
And break the masquerade.
Or showed up at the front door and said, "Hey, by the way."
But that's no fun.
Well, one could argue that the other way wasn't so fun either.
Yeah, true.
It depends upon who.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Oh, and FYI, we don't really use the chat in Video Ninja, so just thought I'd let you know.
Oh, okay.
I don't even think anybody thinks to look at it.
Yeah, I was like, we have a chat?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the main reason why I don't even bother with it is it doesn't keep any log of anything. So it's like as soon as you close out, it's gone.
Oh, okay.
So if you post like a link to something or whatever have you, because it'll allow you to do that, it's gone. So it might as well just drop it in like Discord or or the Facebook chat or whatever have you. And Steven rolls in.
Hey.
Wow.
It's timing.
That was good timing.
Sorry about that, but one of my daughters decided to visit and make sure I was still alive.
Fair enough.
That is understandable. A new fighter approaches.
Yeah.
Wait a second. What game is this?
Little did you know.
Street Fighter.
Yep. All of a sudden, I secretly converted everybody's character sheet over to World of Darkness Combat, and now it's going to be a real fun game.
Ooh.
World of Darkness Combat. I kind of like that, actually.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. I mean, obviously, none of the hardcores were really going to go for it. Just the folks that did actually play Street Fighter and did actually play, the other White Wolf games or any of the other White Wolf games. But it had some cool stuff to it. Curb Stomp was in there.
Actually, that's something that I would have thought Brewhouse would have gotten almost as a mandatory discipline.
Well, they're not really disciplines per se; they're techniques. But
yeah, but you understand what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
So, have we started?
We're actually we just opened up, so
cool.
You're right on time, at least for that. So, who wants to give us a recap? Anyone?
What happened last game? That's a good question.
Let's see.
Oh, right. Notes. There are notes.
Oh, and Shelly is in the chat right now, so she said, "Welcome back, Stephen."
Thank you, Shelley.
Yeah, we're glad you're doing better.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a topic we can bring up in... Yeah, no. Let's not go there.
Okay.
All I'll say is I have 8 holes between my 2 arms.
Ow.
Whew.
That's not great.
That's not encountering. That's not counting like the natural ones, right?
That's not counting the natural anything. Those are all supplementals.
Fun.
That's not a good prize.
Man.
Let's see.
Well,
Seth and Ben woke up to classical music. Shenanigans by Cuddles ensues. Baron Sophie calls a meeting at the Training Museum, which was rebuilt from the fire. That was pretty cool. Sophie and Damaris drill Johnny on his Sabat ties. Seth finally shows up to the meeting wearing a business outfit and a little chain with the Tremere symbol on it. Baron Sophie turns to Harper and talk about more about her being a thermatological hacker. Wow. Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
What was that again?
It's Monday somewhere, I'm sure.
Gesundheit.
That sounds like
Gesundheit.
that almost sounds like the Irma Gerd version of a recap.
Thermaturger.
I know that was awesome.
Harper can do a black flag program, which I guess can shut down internet servers in Ashland. The reporter for the Freep, Houston Connor,
Houston.
joins the meeting and takes notes. Henri talks about obtaining a ghoul and being a funeral owner and a lot of other different special requirements that the ghoul needs to be. Yeah. Baron Sophie did lose a point of humanity over it, and Ben got upset and bounced. Johnny finds out that the Bradoviches are in town, apparently, and do not have somebody controlling them. Apparently, that did not go well. Everybody wanted their dogs before Johnny meets the Bradoviches. Johnny's like, okay. And finally, Ben and Seth are driving, and this strange man named Michael appears in the backseat of their car.
Yeah.
He wanted frozen dinners, and he got Ben some Snickers for being hangry, and Damaris takes Michael back to the airport. I think that's all that.
That's a good summary.
Yeah.
And Trudy, you just got a reroll from Dale there, so make sure you notate that down. Okay, so we are picking back up. It has been, since the events of last game, it has been 2 nights so far. Nothing earth-shattering has transpired. Godzilla hasn't stomped through Ashland recently. The Freep is reporting on thermaturgical.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's the headline is Irma Gerd, dermaturgical confusion within the Tremere ranks, and it's got like some AI generated picture of a Tremere kind of going, but yeah, there is actually an update on the Freep, for Ashland. Ashland news seems to be getting quite a few hits. It's up to 50 right now, which is kind of high, considering it's vampires and not people. And thou art muted, O Brittany of Brittany's.
What's up to 50?
Their most recent article on Ashland.
Oh, I just realized I need to take notes too. Okay. Wait, what do you mean, what it's up to 50? Like the number of readers?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The number of hits.
Oh, okay. Hits. Okay.
And that's why I was saying that's actually a really big count, considering this is vampires and not people that have access to this. So.
Right.
Word gets around.
Okay.
And that's the other thing, too. Bots for impressions are kind of useless here. Not only can they not access it, but what's the point of giving false impressions? Like, oh, hang on a second. We have 100,000 hits. Yeah, I call BS.
Yeah.
Are there even 100,000 vampires on the planet?
I mean, not getting into the math version of it because everybody differs, but yeah, I mean, you could say that there's probably that many, given how many people there are in the world overall.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, there's what 2 billion, I think, in America or something like that, or several multi-million. So, anywho,
Yeah.
and Steven is muted now. We cannot hear him. So I don't know if he muted himself or he bumped the thing because
Oh,
he was adjusting his mic
He-
and I was able to hear
he
it. So,
gone.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's probably readjusting it.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, he probably said he was going to readjust it as he was, logging out. You can't hear him.
Yeah.
Can't throw the connection out.
Okay, there we go.
There.
Had to reboot.
Let's get you added back to the thing here. Okay, so sweeper.
Yeah.
Are you going to do some sweeping and call for a meeting or?
Let's see. Yeah, he'll go ahead and call for a meeting. He'll go ahead and do it at the Dragonflugel. So he'll post a note to the chat, be like, "Hey, let's get together at the Dragonflugel. See what's been up the past few nights." And then he makes his way there.
Okay.
Johnny looks at his phone. The Dragonflugel? The heck? And he'll start like looking it up online.
Well, it's a good thing he had the spelling.
Yeah.
And he didn't like just say, "Hey, let's go to the dragon." How do I spell that?
Yeah.
Bless you. But it is a
Dragonflugel.
Yeah.
the Hurricane Thermaturgical Jerkenflugel. All of a sudden, we're turning into vampiric Swedish chefs. Bork. You look it up. It is a Gothic club. It's actually one of the oldest here in town. It's been designed in an old church, so the layout looks, authentic in that sense. At least the outside has been preserved to that nature.
Okay.
It's a happening spot with all the kids in town.
Oh wow. I'm looking at the pictures on the website. Got a proper little rave going on.
And if you will note, I have made I have actually the website is updated enough that players can use it for some in-character information. So if a location has a little blood drop next to the name, that means it serves your kind there.
Revis will look at the communication from the sweeper and go, that's a little bit out of the ordinary. Okay. And make his way to the location. And as has become his rather normal thing, as he approaches the building, he starts looking around rather intently, looking to see what kindred is going to make a surprise showing this time.
At the Drakenflugel?
Mm-hmm.
Are you on the outside? Are you waiting on the outside then?
I stop at the outside and deliberately take time to look around.
Sure. So there is a moderate-sized line waiting of people waiting to get in, which is kind of typical. They let some people in here or there as some people come out. Of course, Ben, first to arrive, shows up, goes in. Trudy, I take it you're going as well?
Yeah, Trudy will go.
Going yourself, or you have somebody driving you?
Clearly, I have somebody driving me.
Okie doke. So we'll say that was Zyla this go around. So Zyla is just is going to be waiting around outside at this point with the vehicle and just kind of keeping an eye on things.
Okay.
So Trudy shows up. She is with a stunning looking woman with very light makeup, long black hair, business
Middle Eastern, right?
Middle Eastern in appearance, with a she's not in fatigues or anything of that nature, so she's looking more to blend in. She's in, for lack of a better term, she almost looks like she could pass for like a federal agent of some kind.
Is this the one we met at the CAM location?
Nope.
No, this is one that I think we first met her at your club.
Oh, that one. Okay. I got it.
Yeah.
And so she's just kind of waiting around by the vehicle and keeping an eye on things. And then eventually Johnny shows up.
Yep, Johnny's going to pull up in his big Cadillac Escalade, and he's going to see the line. He's going to be like, "Oh no, I don't want to do this again." He's wearing, since it was a Gothic themed club, he's going to be wearing like black T-shirt, black Wranglers, and black cowboy boots, and he's going to activate. Oh my goodness. He's going to activate Obfuscate.
Okay.
Which one do I want? The one that makes you disappear is the one I want.
That should
One.
be, it should be
Yeah.
level 2, I think.
Yes.
Level 3 is Mask of 1,000 Faces.
Unseen presence. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
And he will try to sneak his way in through the line.
Okay. So
Revis is going to stand there and watch this.
from Obfuscate. Okay. Yep. So as you come walking up, obviously nobody in the line knows you're there. You're just like passing right by all of them. And as you come walking up, when you come walking up to the door, you see a guy hold out his very beefy looking hand. The bouncer looking, and he says, "Who are you, kid?"
Defeated. Johnny's going to whisper, Johnny?
He says, "You sound pretty unsure of yourself, Johnny," with a question mark.
Come on. The sweeper, he has an appointment. Come on. Let's.
Okay, so he Gib slaps you upside the back of your head. And so he turns and looks and makes sure that the others aren't paying a whole lot of attention, to that. And he scowls and he gets on his earpiece, and he comments to somebody inside. And while the other two of you, Trudy and Ben, at this point are waiting in the back room that they've secured for you guys for whatever meeting purposes that you have. So Ricky, of course, is one of the Utes, by the way. He looks Italian, kind of nondescript, pretty, average looking for the most part. Not super big. You know what? I don't think he's super big.
I don't remember.
Like strength wise. But hold on one second. Ricky. Yeah. So he's got the look of a guy who was probably a little bit more Poindexter than athlete. So he's got some glasses on, but his hair is well kept and whatnot. Not in a suit, but in kind of business casual. Got a nice button-up shirt, but roll-up sleeves, and some denim jeans. And he knocks on the door and opens it up real quick, and he says, "Yeah, there's some guy named Johnny out front complaining about the sweeper."
Trudy will look around and it's just me and Ben, right?
Yeah.
Trudy will look at Ben and say, "You know a Johnny?"
Yeah. He's new in town. Actually, I don't think you've met him. He's cool. Let him in. And if you could have somebody lead him back here too.
Yeah, sure thing, Mr. Benjamin. Hold on. So he kind of leaves the door, cracked. He goes walking back. Then Johnny, eventually you see that bouncer kind of get the thing, and he tells you to, one moment, and then some other guy comes walking up. This guy is beefy. He looks like, when he was in high school, he was the hero of Polk High School, probably ran for 4 touchdowns, before losing his life to Peg Bundy.
Yeah.
So he's got a bit of a build on him, a little bit of a belly. Similar thing though, nice button-up shirt, rolled up sleeves, denim jeans, and he holds the door open. He could probably pass for a bouncer as well. Short black hair, and he says, "You Johnny?"
Yeah, that's me, Johnny.
And he grabs you by like the scruff of your shirt.
Oh my god!
And brings you inside.
Revis is busting a gut out in the quiet. He's like, "Oh my god, this is great entertainment."
And so as he's bringing you through the club, thankfully it's busy enough. There's they've got a band playing right now. They've got people on the dance floor, so it's kind of loud. No one's really noticing that you're being kind of hauled around by the scruff of your shirt.
Yeah.
All that much. And as you're coming by, he leans in and he says, "Ain't nobody told you nothing of no masquerade there, buddy?"
What are you talking about? I was off his corner.
Yeah, and you didn't think about that when you suddenly poofed right in front of our bouncer, now did you? And then you go name dropping a sweeper. Do we look like the type of place that gets a sweeping like that? For Christ's sakes! So he brings you in the back. The door kind of comes open abruptly. Basically, what it is, the club looks a lot like, and if you guys have ever seen this is a bit of a throwback. If you've ever seen Club Hell from the original Bad Boys, it has kind of that theme to it. Really dark, really gothic, kind of creepy. Anybody in love with like the Rob Zombie aesthetic would probably, love this place, that sort of thing. And so Tommy comes walking up. Now, for those of you in the know, Tommy is one of the Utes.
Yeah.
Now, Ricky was the other one. So he comes up and he says, "I got a noob here for your meeting."
Thank you for that. Hey, Johnny. Sorry, I should have mentioned.
And so Tommy Tommy had him by like the scruff of the shirt, and when Ben looks like he's like he knows the guy, so he kind of sets him down a little. Not that you were being carried, but you had a little bit of heft, so he kind of sets him down. He smacks him upside the back of the head too.
Hey!
and he says. Your friend here decided to obfuscate his way up to the front of the line and then name dropped a sweeper. Grade A moron. He goes, what? He just kind of goes walking back out.
Revis waits till things have settled down in front and then takes out two $50 bills from his wallet and walks up to the bouncer at the door that dealt with Johnny. And he gives him one of them and goes like, "I'm sorry. I should have said something, but it was too much fun to watch you handle."
And he says,
one of the 50s.
"Yeah, whatever. Head on inside, Mr. Revis."
And he goes walking up front, and all the while he's laughing.
Okay.
Comes walking in, looks at Johnny, and I'm sorry. He just goes, "That was great entertainment. I needed a lift after what happened earlier this week."
Oh, man. I thought for sure I could sneak in. Who knew the guy could see me?
Revis looks at Ben and goes, "If the ladies aren't going to be around to educate him, Ben, one of us needs to do this. Someone is going to misunderstand his lack of knowledge and stake him without blinking."
Yeah, you got a point.
I want to get staked.
I
How did he see me?
I suppose nobody told him that this club is owned by the Giovanni.
Well, I'm sure no one mentioned it because we all thought the ladies were going to deal with us. but apparently not, considering the situation I just watched. And you can tell Revis is immensely entertained by the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's like, and he looks over and goes, Johnny, if we send you to a location for a meeting,
Hmm.
you can expect that the guys at the door and scattered throughout the location can see you.
Yeah.
Just assume it's an automatic thing.
So what do I say? Just
You walk up just like any normal person would and go, I'm here to see whoever called the meeting. You don't say anything else other than their name. No title, no reverence. I'm here to see so and so.
okay. That
Yeah.
works.
Now that they know who you are and they know what you look like, they know you're one of us. Typically, you should just be able to walk up to the front of the line. They'll let you right in.
But don't expect they aren't going to hit you in the head again for a while. They're
Oh.
probably going to do that almost every time you show up for the next month.
Oh. All right.
Those Utes, they like to make things fun. So you must be Johnny.
Yeah.
Trudy
Hi.
will stand up and go shake his hand.
Yeah. I'll
Um,
shake your hand.
she is 5'2",
Oh, sure.
Yep.
blonde, wearing her typical Chanel suit and pearls and cowboy boots.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So she'll shake his hand. Trudy Maxwell, Velanese. Keep forgetting that part.
Oh, nice to meet you, Trudy. I'm Johnny.
Hi, Johnny.
So, what's
Guess you're new in town.
yeah, real new in town. So new in town, I'm gonna get smacked for a month, but that's okay. We'll get.
Guess we do things a little different here in Ashland.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Where are you coming from?
California.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny here's a new addition to the Anarch ranks. We got ourselves another defector from another sect, so score -1 for them and +1 for us.
Well, lucky us.
Yeah. So, what's the meeting about, guys?
Hey everybody, just it's been a hot minute since we got together to see if anything new's been happening in town. I know there's a few irons in the fire here and there, and everyone's got their own thing going on. But well, we haven't had any demons. We haven't had to sack any cities for the cam. It's been relatively quiet, so just making sure that nothing's gonna, explode. Anybody got anything they want to mention? Any suspicious things or things they need help with?
I guess just buying a home. That's probably my main concern right now. I mean, I can live out of my car for however long, but it'd be nice to have a bed again.
Right. Yeah, that's right. I got a guy. I can call him after this meeting here and see what he can find for you if he's got anything.
Okay. Yeah. Guess that's it for me. And then he'll look to Trudy and Revis
And then there's another knock, and a guy who comes walking in. He has got he has got a nice white dress shirt on. His collar popped, however. His hair is kind of nicely parted at this point. Doesn't really fit in with the gothic style, but it is very clear he is making every effort to appear respectable and clean cut, despite his family name. In walks Danny.
Oh.
Hey,
Trudy will
Danny.
stand up and shake his hand too.
Hey, Jerome, can you boost the volume to me?
Boost the volume to you? Oh,
Yep.
you know what? That's right. You popped out. All right, there's auto gain control again. So
Cool.
Trudy will jump up and shake his hand.
Oh, so he shakes your hand. Oh, how you doing, Miss Trudy?
Looking right sharp tonight, Danny.
Oh, thank you. We was watching Saturday Night Fever at home, and I figured, that pop card might really snap.
Oh, I might have to take you for a turn on the dance floor.
Oh well, don't let Miss Elise hear about that. She might get kind of jealous there. I mean, you being purty and all.
Think nothing of it. Think nothing of it.
Revis looks at Danny and goes, "You're looking really good, Danny."
Oh, thank you. Well, I got a text saying that there was some kind of meeting. I rightly missed the one with those big Camarilla fellers showed up. I figured it'd probably be a good idea if I dip out and not show for that one.
It was not a meeting that those who weren't involved needed to attend.
Right, gotcha. So snooze fest. Who's the newbie?
Hi, how you doing? Danny, I'm Johnny. He'll
Uh,
go and
What's going on there, Johnny?
go out and shake his hand.
Okay, so he shakes your
Yeah.
hand.
Nothing. I'm new in town, so
Well, that's why I called you a new person.
yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah. So that's pretty much it. Looking to settle down here in Ashland. So
Oh, all right. Well, what? You clanless or something?
no, I got a clan.
Oh. All right. Well, I guess the people who should know should know. Ain't no skin off
Revis
my
just
back.
kind of looks at Johnny and looks at Danny and smiles internally and goes, "Danny, Johnny is a Smeezy."
And so he kind of stops and he looks and he's like, "Whoo! They let your kind in here?
Yeah. What clan are you?
Hell, I ain't got no clan, son. I'm a Bradovich."
You're
Trudy
the Brodovich.
Trudy looks very, very intrigued by all of this.
Revis continues to laugh inside.
You're one of those free Bradoviches that they told me about.
Free Bradovich. He kind of like looks around and he says, "Would you make me sound like I was Kuta Kente or something?"
Yeah, where you don't have a Zamisi lording over you.
Yeah, son, we don't typically have Zamisis that just randomly lord over us.
Don't?
No. Usually it's some sort of Sabat pact. Now, they might have a tie to Zamisi,
Well, damn.
but I don't know if you know much about our family, but
Yeah,
what-
you guys are cannibals.
so he turns and he looks to Ben and he says, son, I don't have the time nor the crayons to explain this to you. He says, but we're accepted here, and let's just leave that at that.
Yeah. Johnny, Danny's he's good people. He and his family, they got a nice place on the outskirts of town. And they've been really helpful. So we treat them like we treat each other. Just FYI.
Oh,
Revis kind of looks at Johnny and goes, "And by the way, they have lots of dogs that are really well trained. And we've used them on a number of occasions for disposal issues."
Oh, that's nice.
Well, you might want to keep that in mind when you say things that they consider rude.
What? They're cannibals. What are you talking about?
And so he like turns and he looks around and he says, well, that ain't wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but
it's in the same
you're
category.
shouting it rather loud.
It's in the same category as calling me a bloodsucker. It's considered rude in polite company.
Oh, all right.
And he like turns and looks at Trudy and he's like, yeah, I mean, I mean, look at Miss Trudy over here. Think of her sensibilities. Don't go shouting that around.
Fair enough. All right.
We all had a little getting used to all of this.
Wow. He's just gonna kind of like marvel at Danny for a little bit, like, holy shit.
So he takes a step back, at seeing that. He's just like, okay,
Right. Anyway, Danny, so haven't heard any news from your parts for a bit. Anything interesting going on with you and your family?
other than we got that dog on hold for Mr. Remus, but he ain't come by. I guess he's on sabbatical or whatnot. So it's been pretty quiet for the most part.
Got it.
Remus comment to Danny. Remus is apparently suffering a slight conflict of conscience.
Oh, that totally makes sense. He came over and hung out with us before he kind of up and went away for a bit.
Yeah. He's struggling with accepting himself and finding a place that fits his moral compass.
Oh, that makes sense.
So,
Yeah.
in any
Oh,
case,
poor kid.
I don't know about that, Miss Trudy. Some of this I think he brought on himself.
I
Truthfully.
suppose he'll get that ironed out, or he won't.
Well, yeah, but I don't think the sweeper would take any solace from the fact that he would have to act if he didn't get it handled.
I
No
think
one
that-
likes kindred that lose control.
Of course.
Kid's got a good head on his shoulders. He'll be fine. He's surrounded by. He's got his servants. He'll be good. He just needs some time. I guess not everybody, but plenty of us get confused, and it's tough to adapt. Maybe it's easy for some, but I know when I first became what we are, it was rough. First year or two, but he'll get used to it.
Reeves would agree with Ben. And, yes, the first couple of years are rough, but part of that comes from having a responsible sire. And in Remus's case, I'm not sure that's actually true. From what I understand, he's had to learn a lot from what he sees and what he remembers.
Isn't that the way with Gangrel?
Possibly. I really couldn't say from any experience. It's just for me to say that watching him actually troubled me for a bit because his struggle was so obvious would be a comment that most would consider unusual. It was almost painful to watch.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
maybe I'll swing by and check in on him at some point.
I would truthfully recommend that. Like I said, I'm sure the sweeper would not take any solace from the fact that he had to act if simply because of a loss of control.
yeah, I mean, granted. And sure, there's a possibility he's gonna lose control. I mean, all of us lose control from time to time, but I don't think he's gonna go like off the deep end. He's surrounded by friends, and he happens to have plenty of cash. So it's not like he's gonna be without whatever he needs.
I would tend to agree with you, but apparently that isn't actually meeting all his needs. His drive for almost becoming human again, it's valued up to the point where he becomes confused about what he is. And that's the only point that I think is really valid. I mean, we all have different ways we go about living. And some of that comes into conflict and some of it doesn't. But that's really the nature of the beast in all truthfulness. The only time we all really get together is when an elder or a neophyte or one of the other classes you want to bring to mind decides that they have become lost and they can't find an anchor again. And that's when bad things happen. We all are aware of rumors even among the elders of one of our kind, simply losing it and becoming a threat to everything else. It's a sad fact of our existence, but I truthfully hope that he recovers. But like I said, even for me, it was almost painful to watch what was taking place.
Yeah. If I see him again, I'll talk to him, see where he's at. Maybe he could stand to talk to the doc. I don't know. Might be a good idea.
I think almost anything in the way of outreach in this case would probably be a good idea, except for me and those on a path. That would not comfort him.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of which, that's clearly keeps coming up as a point of contention amongst us, because there's like at least a couple who are following these paths, and yeah, it doesn't line up with trying to be humane. That's getting kind of rough. Anybody got any ideas on how we can smooth that over, come to compromises, or just stop talking about murdering people when it's convenient?
I think part of that comes from actually some of us, me and Damaris, among our kind, we're relatively civilized. We've had long periods of time where we've been able to adjust along our paths of morality or ethics, whatever you want to call them. There are those among us who either have not had the proper tutoring or have been improperly trained or any of a number of versions thereof. And that is where the problem is. Me and Damaris could socialize with all of you from now to doomsday without it being a problem. We know where those lines are. We're not going to talk about those things that upset you because there is no point to it if we're supposed to be working together. Those of us who are ignorant of that is where this comes from. And one of them has actually stepped up and said, I'm trying to do it. Unfortunately, he still is not cognizant of his words. And that's where the issue comes through. He doesn't pay attention.
Oh, you must be talking about Mr. Henri.
Yes, we are.
Still the words right out of my mouth.
Oh, Henri's trying to go on a path.
Yeah.
Mr. Henri struggles with the day-to-day dealings with his unique mindset.
Oh,
Yeah.
See there, I didn't just blurt out like cannibalism, and whatnot. I was polite and I didn't exactly expose him.
right.
That's the good thing to do there, Mr. Johnny.
He does tend to have a hard time living in society. Understand he's spent a lot of it mostly on his own underground, so to speak.
Oh,
The best
So-
way to look at Henri is at one time he was a feral vampire who has been brought partially into society. His feeding that actually satisfies him is so repugnant that I have to handle it so that no one else suffers from the effects of being there while he feeds to his satisfaction.
Oh.
So that, of course, is an arrangement that I have made on his behalf in order to not involve the city in, for lack of better wording, mass murders.
We
'Cause
appreciate that.
he struggles with control at the time of his feeding to his satisfaction. And it's unfortunate because truthfully, he could be a boon to our society. And I told him, in my judgment, he needed to adopt a path so he would become aware and cognizant of his behavior in relation to society. Because right now he isn't. He tries, but he really isn't aware of how he affects even other kindred. And learning a path, at least at the basic levels, he wouldn't have to go far, would give him a grounding for his behavior, what was acceptable, and it would give him a guideline. This is what you need to go to this point. If you can't do this, you're going to fail. And failing on a path is a bad thing. He would have consequences that he would know would be there for failing to advance along his path. There is some forgiveness along those lines. which is why most of us who have paths, even though many of us are looked upon as not desirable, we actually have guidelines we have to adhere to. There are penalties for violating our path. Now, don't get me wrong. Paths of the Sabbat are not anything like user-friendly. So most of those among normal vampires would not be welcome. However, there are paths that don't belong to the Sabbat. I'm not very cognizant of them, simply other than I know they exist. And I feel he could be guided along one of those. Damaris is much more familiar with them than I am. And even though her knowledge is only basic, just getting them started would probably go a long way towards solving the problem. Having a guideline that he could aim at instead of wandering aimlessly has got to be better than the current situation. So in answer to your question, Ben, I think this part of the solution is education, for lack of a better word.
Sure.
Either they can advance along a path to humanity or they cannot. And if it's obvious that they can't, then they needed to be guided to something that allows them to be part of our society and not cause a problem.
Well, do you think Damaris has what it takes to teach him how to deal with this path, or do we
She
need
has
somebody?
a basic knowledge. She's much more advanced in that area than I chose to be. She can look at his behavior and make an observation about what would be something that would point him at least in a direction that would allow him to be functional within our society. After that, he would probably have to find someone else to continue that advancement. But like I said, that's still better than our current situation.
Speaking of that situation, I was hearing before that his arrangement was temporary until something permanent could come up. Has that been dealt with?
No, that has not. And he's almost due for his second feeding. And like I said, I was only willing to do it 3 times. It doesn't bother me, but I don't think it's the way we want him to continue much further down that road without a guideline.
Right.
That's my concern.
Oh, we got that for right now. He and I talked. That part's all good.
That part's all good, Danny?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay,
I
because he hadn't communicated that to us.
Of the disposal and whatnot. Yeah, he talked to us. He's going to be exchanging some obfuscate for our assistance, and then we'll play it by ear from there.
Okay, let
Got it.
me in particular know if that's an issue, because I will deal with him directly on that matter.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if he decides to get a little bit too feral, we got a femur bone to beat him with to get him back in shape.
Okay.
You know,
Excellent. Like I said,
remind him bad doggy if need be.
if it, like I said, if it does become an issue, let me know, and I'll take it up with the Baroness, and we will resolve it at the appropriate level.
Yeah, no, it's good for right now. But I mean, this whole you don't want him to go like completely psycho. Then that makes total sense. Yeah, he's gonna need some direction or something of that nature.
Yeah, Danny, you don't happen to have any ties to anybody who'd be able to help him if Damaris doesn't have what it takes, do you?
Well, Miss Damaris is she's what is that? A Cordis type. They're like Sabbat samurai. Kind of. That's the best way to look at them from what I understand. They can be lethal, but they got this kind of code, the way they do things, and they don't just murder for murder's sake. They don't torture for torture's sake. Being honorable, not lying's important to them. That kind of thing. Seems to be you may want to blur the lines a little bit if you're looking at that, and find somebody willing from the other side to teach him some kind of enlightenment.
Yeah.
I know it. I know it ain't the best, but ain't there got to be some kind of. I mean, I know the official guidelines are, ne'er the two shall meet, kind of thing. I'm still picking up what you're putting down about the whole Camarilla Anarch thing, but I mean, I already know kind of how the Sabbat work in that sense. But ain't there somebody like on the Sabbat side that can bend the rules a little bit? Maybe ain't so murder, death, kill. When y'all kind of meet.
Let's see. Anybody we know?
I wonder how much Agaya knows about that sort of thing. It's we've never talked about it. Honestly, this whole Enlightenment thing is pretty new to me.
Huh. I would have thought you would be more knowledgeable about it. Well, that
Always
explains
just-
a little bit about what your confusion is with her. Do you know what her path is?
I'm not sure. We've never talked about it.
I would suggest you have that discussion at some
You know
point.
what? Let me see if she wants to come down here. We can talk. And she'll pull out her phone and do the talk to text.
Okay.
And she'll say, "Hey, Gia Dumpling, can you come by the Drachenflügel? We'd like to bend your ear. Send."
Okay. So you get this text back. Trudy, what's a gay dumpling?
No.
She looks at it and she says, I have no idea.
It like caught part of your slang and kind of like melded it into what
Right.
it thought you were trying to say. She says, "Is this a new kind of food? Like happy dumplings?"
She's going to call instead.
Okay.
Hello?
So she's like,
Agaya?
she says, "Oh, did talk to speak confuse your accent again?"
I don't know. I don't know. We're are you busy tonight? Do you want to come by?
I'm hip deep in some Chris Claremont, but I could be pulled away.
That's one of your comic books, right?
You're learning. Yeah, it is. 80s and 90s kind of. I'm right now I'm like, never mind. Yeah.
All right, you can come meet our new addition to the city.
Okay. So this is like an official Anarch meeting thing?
Sort of unofficial.
Revis is laughing in the background.
It's just a friendly conversation.
Oh, okay. You don't mind if I take one of the cars, do you?
I don't mind.
Okay. Where are you
Just
at?
keep it in one piece. We're at Malcolm's Club in the meeting room.
Okay, great. I get to test out the 10-second car.
Just as long as it's in one piece.
Oh, I promise it'll be in one piece.
All right, we'll see you soon, Dumpling.
Okay. So she hangs up.
Revis
And
is
then-
gonna look at Johnny and go, Johnny,
Yeah. Yes.
from what I understand, you are like Ben and Miss Trudy in that you have a large amount of your humanity left, correct?
Yeah.
So
Pearl wanted it that way.
Who's Carol?
Pearl.
Yeah.
Pearl.
Pearl. Who's Pearl?
Oh, she was my sire.
okay, that explains a lot because typically that would not have been the case among the Sabbat who don't follow much that's human orientated.
Right.
I-
she
I
wanted me.
understand there are some.
She wanted me to lose it, like go on a path when the time was right, and not force it. Because sometimes when you force it, you go crazy and you lose yourself. So she was more like, let's take it slow. We have all the time in the world. We're immortal. So that's what she wanted.
Okay. I was just kind of curious because you are remarkably ethically orientated, for lack of better wording.
Well, thank you.
Ben just got a reroll from Shelly.
Nice.
Ooh, thank you.
But yeah. I guess it sounds like Henri's ready to go on a path. If not, he should have been on a path already. Um,
It's hard to tell. He is somewhere near my age, roughly. And so he's spent a lot of time basically being uncivilized, for lack of a better wording. And he's talked about it. Me and him have talked substantially on some of these topics. He probably would have made a great Sabat.
sounds
Yeah.
like it. From what he was
But
talking about the other night. Ugh.
yeah,
But
but as
yeah.
even as an anarch, he is a problem. That's just being honest about it. If his feeding was different, if his treatment of his ghouls was even moderately different, I would say he would be a decent fit. But he's got so many rough edges. Even when he's trying, he offends. And he means well. But Miss Trudy, how many times have you struggled in his presence?
Couple.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I mean, the Sabbat is like a college, let's say. You got all the information right there. But that doesn't mean you couldn't find like somebody else to teach him. So,
I am sure there is someone else who could help him. I cannot help him. My path would not be suitable to him because on the starting of my path, it is all about indulgence. Allowing Henri to indulge all of his behavior,
That sounds
I would
like a
be the
bad
first
idea.
one out there to slay him. That is no exaggeration.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Right.
It is a very bad idea. I am well past the point of indulgence in my path, far enough along that I'm quite capable of working in civilized kindred society without a qualm. But I won't tell you the first years of my life were anything other than excess and indulgence. But that was hundreds of years ago. And that's where my advantage lies over him.
Mr. Johnny, how
yes.
so I understand that you come to us from the Sabbat. Or
Yeah.
how long has it been since you cut ties?
It's been a couple of years. I want to say, let's see, when did the. Give me just one moment.
Yeah.
I don't believe we've had a Samisi in town before.
Yeah, I'm the only one. Surprise. It's probably been
Previous
about.
to kind of huff a little bit when he said the only one, knowing that's not true.
It's probably been about like 3 years. Since 3 or 4 years, give or take. So.
How's that transition been?
Well, I've been living out of my car, so that hasn't been great. I guess just kind of living night by night, feed, drive to the next town, set up for the night or for the
But
morning. Yeah.
philosophically, how's the transition been?
What? Well, what do you mean, like
Are you
philosophically?
were you much of a nodist?
Oh no, though. I think that's stuff that Pearl dealt with. No.
How
I
about what's your general opinion of humans?
I mean, like they are a source of food for us,
Right.
but the older ones and the crazier ones don't see them as, they just see them as like animals, I guess. And I still think that like humans have a, how to explain this? Like humans are still human, I can't. They're still like
If
they're
a
not
human-
just
If a human being walked up to you and struck up a conversation, would
yeah.
you bother talking to him? Would you have a conversation with him?
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
So
It's
there's
not like-
value in people.
Yeah, there's value. There we go. There's value in people.
Good.
And
Speaking of which, oh, sorry, go ahead.
if you found that that something you were working on put a human in danger, would that change anything about what you were doing?
Yeah, you don't want to. You want to reduce collateral damage. So like what we do should be done on that side, and humans really shouldn't be involved or shouldn't really know about it. So
So masquerade sort of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, we called it Silence of the Blood, but yeah, it's similar to your guys' masquerade. I'm learning.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Are you sure you weren't just, Camarilla, LARPing as Sabat?
Sure. I'll be. I was totally 100% Camarilla. There we go.
What's LARPing? What does that mean?
Oh, when you're pretending.
Yeah, that's a live action role playing thing.
Mm-hmm.
You got a fella here in town who runs a pretty successful one. I stop by every so often for a chuckle.
Interesting.
But yeah, I guess I'm a special case. So yeah, it's different.
You're a special case.
Yeah.
You ain't got the helmet for being a special case.
Oh, I can grow one if you'd like me to.
So he just shakes his head. You know what, son? Some drink from the fountain of knowledge. You only gargle.
I tell you. You know what, Danny? You're all right. You're all right, Danny.
So
Reader just keeps looking down at Danny and making sure Danny hasn't slipped a steak into his hand when no one was looking.
no, Danny just leans up against the wall at this point to listen when Agaya comes walking in. She's a kind of tall, a little on the lanky side. She has a shirt that has like a vampire penguin on it. That's a black shirt she's wearing. Just some dark blue jeans, what appear to be combat boots. She has long black hair. Otherwise, just looks like a regular human bartender. She looks like a regular human and just comes, walking in, and she's just kind of like humming a song, kind of doing her thing, like really jazzed.
Hey, Gaia, how's it going?
Pale complexion. Hey. And she scooches over towards, Trudy. So hi everybody.
Hi, Gaia?
She kind of
Dublin, this is Johnny. He's the new guy.
Hi.
like Johnny Lawrence?
I don't know who that is. Sorry.
Johnny, do you go by a last name at all, or is it just Johnny?
I like to go by Johnny. I do have a last name.
And so she leans into Trudy and she says, ooh, I'm betting it's 5.
What does that mean?
I'll show you at home.
Yeah. So it's my last name,
And you don't have to share it if you don't want to.
Okay, good. That's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah.
So she snaps her fingers. She's like, we almost had him talked into it.
Johnny comes to us from the Zamisi.
Okay. She's like, kind of looking at him. She's like, he doesn't smell Zamisi.
Revis breaks out laughing. This is way better entertainment than the last time.
You'd be able to smell. Maybe
Do
I
they-
don't want to know.
Do they smell different?
Do we smell different?
So he's confused. Like, do we smell different? Yeah, they play with flesh.
Oh. Okay. Fair point.
No, but we were talking about Mr. Henri, and there's been some discussion about paths of enlightenment, and it occurred to me that we never really talked about that. Do you know anything about those?
Kind of like looks around. It's safe to talk about that here?
Revis would just hold up his hand and go, not human.
It's
Well,
all right. I mean,
We're all
it-
officially not human, but I don't know what the Anarch protocol is for talking about stuff that's usually
Not
a
polite company.
bot thing.
Oh, it's not just a bot.
I
So they
mean-
have their own as well.
we're trying to figure things out, and if there's a tool that lets us do a job and it doesn't do anything terrible, then
Oh,
you know
so
what?
you mean you need like a Bible study?
If that's what it takes for Henri to not flip out one night, then you know what? Whatever it takes.
So that is something that you know something about.
Yeah, K-Night Chronicles. Dabble in some Cathari. What could go wrong? Everything.
Ooh. Oh, my.
And she says, well, I mean, yeah. You didn't read the book, did you?
Which book?
You know, the book we have for our study.
Well, I mean, I've been a little lax lately.
So she's
Is that
so
is
she-
that in there?
So she just kind of huffs a little bit and kind of looks at you. She's like,
Is that in there?
it's one of the things.
This is amusing. Watching her be chastised by Gia is actually amusing.
It's fine. We'll talk more when we get home.
Well, we were just trying to talk about ways that we could help Henri get along with people in the city a little bit better. And I mean, if you're familiar with paths of enlightenment, maybe there's one that
Well, I mean,
you know
yeah,
that might work for him.
I'm an artist. I kind of have to be.
I keep hearing that. What does that mean?
Oh,
What's
those
a nodist?
those are the eggheads.
So she folds her
Oh.
arms and just kind of leans to one side and she says, "Oh, do tell, new guy."
What?
Revis is-
Yeah, you guys read books. You guys are eggheads.
Revis just kind of leans over and holds his finger up towards the Gia for a second. Wait a second. He goes, Johnny, remember that part about rudeness?
Not again.
That's twice tonight.
Oh my god. They are very.
He looks at the Gia and goes, he's going to apologize? He lacks
Je ne sais quoi.
almost every form of important training.
I like to apologize.
And so
Gia.
when he says that, she's like, "Oh, gotcha. Shovelhead. Okay. That makes so much more sense." And so she kind of looks at you with sympathy and she's like, "I'm sorry they left you behind."
10 points.
Fair enough.
She
Fair
says that all's forgiven. I completely get it. That totally makes sense why you don't smell like an actual Zamisi.
Fair enough. The Nodis were learned people,
Okay.
and they
And
read from books, and that's all they did.
That no. Ugh.
so it looks like
It's
so
like she's
yeah.
making a mental note at this point of like how she's going to judge this guy from going forward, and her unfortunately her expressions are just all on her face. Like she can't hide them even if she tried. And then she says, "No, we don't just sit and read books." She says, "There's a little bit of Indiana Jones kind of thing thrown in there, and we learn all about Cain. And Cain wasn't just about books. Cain was about the experience of being what we are. That's why we call ourselves Cainites. There's a lot of history that goes into that. You don't just call yourself American and then forget anything about America, do you?"
We even start doing
Yes.
the little hand clap thing.
I
Suppose some folks do.
And she's like, "Oh."
But that's your whole like philosophy or religion, just learning about Cain.
And his trials and tribulations and what it means to be a Cainite, what it means to interact in the world in which we are. It's a philosophy. It's kind of a religion, but not quite. You're not supposed to deify Cain. That's a heresy.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure that Henri's gonna care. I never hear him talking about Cain. I mean, no one around here's talking about him that much. So, do you know how to convince somebody to follow one of these paths? Because there's apparently a bunch of them.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. There's some obscure ones. I don't know. I don't know much about Henri. If he's just murder hobo, the path of enlightenment I would recommend is probably not one you guys would like. But it would be the one that's sounds like it's most safe for him if he has a problem with the. Okay, so he has a problem with the humanity thing, which I get. We kind of do too. But is there something else I'm missing?
Yes. His feeding habits are abhorrent to the rest of the society here.
Oh, so he plays with his food.
Yes, and they will be a little bit offended if we pursue this too much further.
Oh, okay. Well, if he's not scholarly which is weird because like the Nosferatu are some of the best not scholars, but
You know, he makes books, but I don't know if he reads them. We never really went over that.
oh, and then she looks at Johnny. She says, "We call that an oxymoron."
okay.
Interject at this point and go, he handles his ghouls poorly.
Okay.
A best description of
bad.
him would be he's a feral vampire with a veneer of civilization slapped on.
Maybe he should look at Feral Heart then.
I don't know enough about it. I'm only familiar with Sedite philosophy, and that's unsuitable to him for some rather obvious reasons.
Well, what does it mean to follow a feral heart path? What would he be doing?
Well, I mean, it sounds, based on what you're telling me, that he loves the hunt, and that's kind of that's a big part of Path of Feral Heart. They kind of glorify themselves as a hunter, like they enjoy being the wolf to everybody's deer. Vampires are the ultimate hunters because they're immortal and invulnerable. But it would mean that he would have to indulge in his predatory nature.
Like all the time,
Right.
or judiciously?
He could probably do it judiciously, but that would be also kind of against the tenets. That's the problem you're kind of running into here.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yeah,
that's why we have the unofficial rule in Sabbat of don't shit where you eat. Or the Terminator rule, don't go just randomly shoot up the police station.
So if you do need to perhaps be injudicious, at least take it outside of town.
Right. Or preferably into a Camarilla domain.
Right.
You know, actually, that's not a bad idea. Not the cam part, but the
Yeah, don't we have
the rest of it? The rest of it. That's not a bad idea.
Right.
If it must be done.
Well, this is the point that I've raised several times. There is really, when it comes to Henri, there's really only two decisions to be made. You either accept him and find a way for him to exist in our society, or you don't accept him and decide if you want to let him move somewhere else, or if it's a problem that simply needs to be solved permanently.
And then she starts thinking about it. And she says, now that I think about it, he's kind of stuck because on one hand, he is trying to be, and this is based on what you guys are telling me, he's trying to be monster, evil predator, and eats his prey, and I guess Tasmanian devils them or whatever have you. But then he has this side hobby thing. You said he makes books.
Correct.
That really wouldn't gel with Path of the Feral Heart. He'd probably have to give up one or the other. And it doesn't sound like he's going to give up hunting and killing.
Right.
Well, are there any others that would also work? You know, it feels a little bit weird talking about this without him here, but
Actually, Trudy, when you think about him, do you really want to push his control that hard? This is a discussion actually best had now.
so maybe we come up with some ideas that are acceptable to us and then let him choose from the options.
That would be my suggestion. I doubt he would respond well when the topic of, oh, we may have to end you comes up because you can't control your desires.
Well,
What
better
about,
say that to someone's face than behind their back, right?
Yes, Johnny?
Oh, well, I was going to recommend, what do you think about Path of Death and the Soul? And he'll look to Agaya.
Death in the soul.
She says, I mean, that's kind of a harbinger thing.
Yeah.
Or those that are like really, really creepy.
I mean, you've talked to Henri, right? He kind of fits that bill from time to time.
No, he doesn't.
All the time.
She shakes her head. She's like, if you have a problem being around him now, putting him on Death in the Soul is going to make that worse.
Say no more.
He's going to play with, he'll likely play with his food and savor it, and then find something to do with the corpse later on.
Yeah, okay, let's not bring that up to him.
Okay.
Sounds like
That
what
was
he
a-
already.
That was a bad idea. Yep.
Hmm.
She says, but then there's, and she's like, I mean, but Path of the Bone really isn't all that much different, I guess. But that's more of the study of death, but then they want to hasten it. So maybe, but then I think that's more of the death cult types, like the Giovanni and the harbingers and those guys that fall apart from leprosy.
There's
Samedi.
Reeves says go. His drives are such that during the process of the hunt, there is no control by the time he reaches his prey.
Hmm. Well, I mean, maybe Pathobones. Good news is, I'm sure some of the Giovanni have know somebody on it.
Well, we have two options from what Agea said. Neither one is going to be perfect, but considering this circumstance, we're going to get improvement at some level. I would think something has to be tried if we want him as part of our society long term.
Or, and here's an alternative, you could take the Sabat method, and the beatings will continue until morale improves.
Ooh. Well,
that doesn't sound.
the problem with that is it would be me or Damaris that got stuck with that job. Unless, well, you might enjoy it too.
Okay.
The others will struggle with doing harm to another member of society.
Oh. Well, it's not really torture.
I know that. You know that. They do not know that.
Would really beating him into compliance actually ever work? With, I mean, I've been tracking guys like him for decades. They don't just stop that behavior. It's like a permanent thing they do. So,
Well,
I don't
she's
know.
offering alternatives, and yes, it's one that's the least likely to work. But if you do something like that with a reward at the end, like we're going to do this until this takes place. If you achieve this goal, this is what you earn. In other
what
words,
are
I mean, she kind of shrugs and she says, I mean, I don't really know him, so it's hard for me to recommend. But based on what you're telling me, I mean, those are kind of the first things that come to mind. The most passive of it would be the Pathocane, and he would learn to study, and which sounds like he may kind of do that. At higher levels, we don't like to play with our food, so we don't really have much with humanity. So he would probably, that would probably be a way for him to get around that.
are you
Huh.
are you on one of these paths?
Yeah, that's an artist.
The Path
Oh.
of Cain. Okay.
Oh.
I mean, something's better than nothing at this point. Sure, Danny's good with like supplying his needs for at least a while, but I mean, there's only so many scumbags that can just kind of disappear just for his addiction or needs or whatever. So if anything can curb it at this point, I mean, gotta try something.
so basically, we're pretty much all in agreement that something needs to be tried. We have some options. We should give them to the sweeper to present to the Baroness because this would have to come from her. This is not within mine or Ben's ability to say this is what you have to do. This would have to come from the Baroness. You have to do this or you have to leave. He needs to know what's at risk here. If he cannot succeed in control, how can we allow him to stay? We'll have what we had already, an incident where we had the whole world looking over our shoulder. You guys need to fix this, and you need to fix this now.
Right.
Maybe Path of Bones. Maybe.
like I said, we have some options, and I'm thankful to Agaya because her knowledge is far greater than my ability to talk on these topics.
All right. Well, good deal. Then we'll bring that info to the Baron, see if she can talk to Henri about it. Okay.
Agaya, would you mind being on hand as a consultant?
Me? A consultant?
Well, you're the one of us who knows the most about paths.
Wow, I never thought about that. Can I talk to you outside a second about that?
Sure.
So she, holds the door open and goes walking out.
Trudy will take her into Malcolm's office.
Okay. Oh, perfect. She's like, oh, show off. So she says, you don't mind if I consult His Excellency about what to do here, do you?
Actually, that's not a bad idea.
Okay, because if I'm going to do this, I've never been a priest, and this is kind of a priestly thing to do. And I don't feel comfortable about just winging it, because I know apparently he's important to you guys. I don't exactly know why, but
Well,
I'm just taking it at face value.
Everyone here in Ashland is important, so
Okay, fair.
we're all trying to get along together.
So he's the redheaded stepchild? Because we had those too, I mean.
Henri?
We just purposely sat them in the corner until they learned their lesson.
Yeah, you could kind of call him that, actually.
Oh.
In a manner of speaking.
You had to go Obi-Wan. Oh, come on, Trudy. We watched Star Wars.
What did I say?
From a certain point of view.
Am I wrong?
I don't know. I haven't really met him. But
all right, so you want to
talk
to Mr. O'Branigan?
I would feel more comfortable. I know it's kind of risky, but would that be okay?
It's fine with me. He's good people.
I'm going to quote you on that.
Yeah, don't tell him I said that.
Okay.
Sometimes we gotta keep appearances.
Oh, right. Okay. Cool. Say no more. I'm gonna. How about I stay here and you go entertain your friends and let them know I'll be right back.
Do you have his number?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Just close the door when you're done.
Okay. Will do. I'm gonna sit in his chair. I'm gonna sit in his chair though.
Don't mess up his desk.
Well, I'm only gonna kick up my feet.
Okay. Just don't go through his desk.
It's a leather chair. It's actually looking really nice.
It is a nice chair. I bought him that for Christmas.
I have to do illegal things. Shoo.
Right. She'll head back to the other room.
Okay. So you hear her sit down in the chair and go, ah, as she throws her feet up on the desk.
Okay.
So eventually Trudy comes walking back in after maybe 5 or so minutes.
Everything all right?
Yeah, she just she said this is a sort of a priest teaching people about paths, and she's gonna phone a friend just to um, make sure she does it the right way.
Huh.
It's fine.
All right.
Just looks at her. Because he knows Legaea's background. Call him friend. Priest thinks.
Hmm.
It's somebody I trust.
Speaking of which, how exactly did you know those Sabat folks that we ran into and then had to deal with at the boneyard?
Yeah, that was an unfortunate bit of business.
Grievous kind of looks at Ben and goes, there was a discussion on that when you weren't present.
Well,
now I'm present.
Yes,
the long and the short of it.
There was an agreement made at that time. So while I know what the end of that discussion was, part of the agreement was I, being Revis, cannot talk about it, whereas she, being Miss Trudy, can. So I'm going to deliberately take myself out of this conversation at this point so as not to offend the other people who vowed to remain silent.
Fair enough.
The long and the short of it is there have been a few times when getting safe passage to somewhere I needed to go involved posing as Sabat. And Agaya showed me what to do and what things to say. And we encountered those people in that ruse and have had a couple of dealings with them. In fact, they actually came through Ashland one time to warn me about hunters coming through. So anyway, I was hoping that they would just pass through and no one would be the wiser, and they wouldn't know that I wasn't Sabat, and you wouldn't know that they were Sabat. But that, unfortunately, it didn't work out that way, and I regret that we killed them. I regret that things went down the way that they did, but I've come to a sense of peace about it, and it is what it is.
Is there anybody else that we
Nope.
should know about?
Just them. I don't know that they spoke about me to anyone, but you heard him refer to me as the Archbishop of Ashland, that's just funny.
Oh,
But
you're the Archbishop. Oh,
no,
congratulations.
we don't do that here. We don't do that
Uh-huh.
here. I'm not actually Sabat, and I never will be.
Oh,
It's just
maybe I can be.
no. We don't do that here,
No,
Mr.
Johnny.
No, okay.
Grievous just kind of walks
No.
behind Johnny with a casual stroll.
Fear for the back of his head.
And then he rather calmly uses his rather more advanced version of obfuscate and settles invisibly behind him.
No, anyway, that's what that was about.
All right. I'll trust you. I appreciate that. But yeah, if anything like that comes up, a heads up would be nice. If you have any other secret identities, or you're the prince of a city we didn't know about, according to a group you ran into decades ago.
Nope.
Okay.
No interest in being a prince.
Good.
Yeah, my sire was a prince at one point, but it's all water under the bridge.
All right. Oh,
I've
speaking
been
of which,
anarch longer than most of you been alive.
Wow. Well, all right then. Yeah, speaking of which, I know some of us have been trying to get info on that Hugo. How's that been going on? Have you gotten any word about him? Any extra info?
Not yet. Still waiting to hear from my man underground.
Who's Hugo?
He's a piece of garbage.
Oh,
He did Trudy wrong years and years ago. And it'd be good if we got him back for that, because he's still out there and he's got a lot of power and money on his side.
He's bad news.
ooh.
But he's in Seattle, and we need to play this the right way. So we're doing the long game. And of course, I would appreciate any assistance on that, but it's something I've been working on for a long, long time, and I can be patient.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know Flames and the Baron were working on getting info. I'll reach out to them in a bit, see if they've got any updates. Beyond that, anything else we got going on? Now we know Agay is going to be a consultant for Henri's spiritual growth, I guess. That'll be interesting.
Spiritual
Ain't that
consultant.
doesn't that taste funny in your mouth?
Boy. Well, we've got, at least got a path on that. Anything else? I know I've got to help Johnny get a place. See if I can have my guy find some place. By the way, Johnny,
Yeah.
you don't have any work you do. What did you used to do before you became a vampire?
Well, before Pearl found me and embraced me, I was a police officer.
You were a what?
Police officer. Oh my God! What are you doing back there? What the? Oh my God!
I love the fact that he answered first, and then he's like, "Ah!"
Yeah.
And a smile. Then goes back around and sits down.
Oh God! Oh my heart! It
You
does
have
not
one?
beat. Yes, I do.
Why?
You don't have a heart?
No.
It's a whole
Me.
thing.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Uh,
File that one away.
yeah, no heart. That's ouch. Anyway, yeah. So, I was I just graduated college and I went into the police force in San Diego.
Ben, you think you can slip them into the database?
Failure. Well, what kind of database?
Well, the police database, of course.
Yeah, that's clearly not gonna work. But yeah. Did you have like? Were you using any of those skills recently, or how long has it been since you've been on a beat?
It's been a very long time. It's been at least, kind of like think back while I look at my notes. It's probably been about 20 years.
All right.
Been maybe a little bit longer. But yeah. Also, I guess people think I'm dead in San Diego, so me popping up in Ashland would probably raise some red flags. Although I don't look like what I looked like before, so maybe.
So, is your last name a common one, like Smith or Corona or any of those normal things, or is it something
Hmm.
exceptional related to your sire? Because if it's a common name, then there isn't really any problem inserting you into any database. You're just one more of 1,000 more. And what I'm thinking when I say that is it would be a way to try and get you paid without you really doing anything. There's lots of people that go on ghost payrolls, as an example.
Oh.
So you understand what I'm saying? There are several possibilities there. I just don't have enough knowledge of who you really are to say if something's workable.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, my last name is Carrera. So I don't know if that's a special name or like a common name.
It's neither either one. I mean,
Yeah.
there would be more of you, but it's not like Smith by any means. But nonetheless, so it would be something to consider, Ben. I mean, if we had a way that we could work him into just as a part of a ghost payroll, it wouldn't be bad a way for him to get some income to start.
Could do that.
I could join the police force again here in Ashland? That's crazy.
That would take a little bit more work, but we have someone whose specialty is IT now.
True.
Ooh, that's right, Harper.
So we could set this as one of Harper's chores and let her go at it, and that would enable us to establish someone who's a kindred in the police force.
Well,
Gonna
I
have to do a lot of
suppose.
reading. Oh no.
Huh.
And Agaya comes walking back in.
How did it go?
I need to get robes.
Where do you get those?
Oh, I mean, I can go punk a priest for it if necessary. I mean, that's not a big deal. I just don't like how they feel in my wings. Yeah.
Well, we could. Can we alter them?
You have wings?
Johnny looks at Revis and goes, "Oh, he really doesn't understand what she is."
That's because she's masked.
Yeah, she's.
Well, it's a little bit more than that. The funny thing is, what people don't realize is Mask of 1,000 Faces changes your face, not your body.
Right.
Or obfuscate, hides you completely and hides other people. It doesn't let you completely hide your body.
Mm-hmm.
So she drops the image of what she's projecting right now, and she is gray-skinned, same height. Her hair is a little bit more ruddy looking than black. Obviously, clothing's still the same. You know, she's got these wings kind of coming off of her back. Her legs bend back the other way. You know, she's a gargoyle.
Wow. A real life gargoyle.
From across the table goes, "We need to civilize you just a bit on the whole how you handle seeing something strange."
But this is you know how rare this is? This is awesome.
We're all private here. She is a one of a kind.
Yeah, I'll say.
Thank
and he'll
you.
like he's looking at the wings,
And
the hair.
no touchy.
No touchy. No touchy. No
touchy.
touchy. No touchy. No touchy. Wow.
And she says, I mean, could we? I mean, it sounds like a big ask for like just one use.
We could ask. I mean, they might come in handy another time.
I think he was just pulling my leg, but he's who he is, and so I'll go ahead and get some robes.
Yeah.
And I have to get a friend. I guess he didn't get on the plane.
Oh no, he's still here.
Wait, what?
Oh, no one told you.
Yeah, there's some weird guy calls himself Michael. He's few pints short of a gallon, and he made his way up here from Tucson or Yuma, somewhere in Arizona, whatever they've got control down there.
From the Black Fortress of the Southwest, yes.
Yeah. And he was looking for Flames and found her, and didn't know that she had, left the Sabbat, because
Is
that's
that
where
a
he's from.
security risk?
I don't think he's smart enough to be I mean, you
Did
can't
they
miss him. The guy
did they
is a
fight?
brick wall. But they didn't fight. No, he's just kind of accepting of things. Man, and when I saw his aura, that is the weirdest thing. Like, everyone's got some emotions, none. Like the way his brain works or something. It is
Revis would go,
weird.
have you ever seen the movie Gentle Ben?
Oh, is that anything like Simple
No.
Jack?
That
Something like that.
gentle Ben,
It's
is that a bear?
no. Anyhow, it's this big 6 foot, almost 7 foot tall guy who weighs probably about 350 pounds. And he's placid, for lack of better wording. But if you anger him, he puts you into the next century without the
Hmm.
return ticket.
Sounds about right.
She said. So she says, "You're kind of right, Ben. Um, see, the Sabbat have kind of a love-hate relationship with Michael. His sire was one of our bishops a while back, and after they decided to embrace him, his bishop got scared of him, and he walled him up in the temple where he stayed for like a year.
Yikes.
And when he came out, he was physically stronger than his sire, and no one understands why or how he wound up with potence. So he's kind of been a mascot, I think, from what I'm told. I've met him on a couple of occasions, but what I've been told lately is only Michael's simulacrum.
Which means what exactly?
Michael kind of left this reality several years ago. He's a Zamisi that just kind of kept Zamisi. And he is somewhere in the Black Fortress and I don't know where exactly, but he's apparently a big dragon thing. And when he decides he wants to go wander the earth, he flesh crafted a person to look just like him.
So he's a human?
No.
No. That's really a vampire we're talking to, but a vampire that's no longer a vampire anymore. That's really like a part of Michael.
Are you trying to say he's partially ascended?
This is all
That I don't
very
know.
esoteric.
Yeah, even I don't fully know what the thing is. Only that I was told he was never meant to be inflicted on Ashland, and that they would like him back if possible.
So he's here,
Yeah, he never
and
got
you
on the
need
plane.
to.
Just talking. I just need to get him onto the plane and send him home. He's got a plane ticket.
You know what? Why don't you go ahead and take care of that? and when you figure out what to do with the robes, I'm sure Latisse will help you fit them properly.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
She's good at that sort of thing.
She's kind of handy with the needle. Okay.
She is.
I'm
Okay.
gonna go do that. Right. You don't mind if I borrow your card, do I? Or do you?
Keep it in one piece. My
No.
card or my car?
Card.
For buying things?
I'm
I
gonna.
take it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna need to buy him stock in Michelina's sweet sour dinners.
Right.
Oh, you mean a supply, not stock.
Well, right? Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Uh, go find Miss Zilla in the parking lot. She's got it.
Okay. I'll let you know what I find out.
Okay.
Good luck with that. Getting him on the plane, by the way.
Thank you. Chalk that up to things I didn't think I'd ever do.
Be careful.
So she looks like she did when she first walked in here and walks out.
All right.
Right.
She is a gem.
Man, that's really cool.
Right.
You know, I got to tell you, Johnny, I'm
Yeah.
really tempted to tie your shoelaces together.
Why? That that would be mean.
Well, that's anticipation of the next time you insult one of the members of society.
Oh. I would like to apologize to the society for all my inadvertent
Fox paws.
You know what? Agaya's come a mighty long way since the day that she came to us, and Mr. Johnny, I'm sure you'll do just the same.
So, Ben,
It's a bit of a
lacking the
rocky road, but
ladies,
you'll get there.
which one of us wants to make sure he doesn't become a walking breach?
You know, actually, this might be a good opportunity. Johnny, I was going to actually head up to Salem for just a couple of nights. There's stuff I actually need to get accomplished for where I work, Pantheon Investigations. You
Oh.
want to come along?
Yeah,
I can't really
definitely.
take Seth with. All right.
You know, if you need a place to stay, there's a sort of Elysium up there that is a building that I purchased, and you're welcome. It's called The Answer. It's an old church that's turned into a bar.
Got it.
You're welcome to stay there.
If I go there, will they know what's up, or do I need to say something?
Well, I don't know what business that you're going on, but they're in the know.
Got it. The Answer. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Just tell them that you have my permission to check up.
Excellent. All right. Crosses that off the list. Wow.
Nice. Johnny's gonna like get his new phone out and start looking for The Answer in Salem. Does it have a website?
You know, I don't know.
It does, yes.
That's not not my wheelhouse.
So,
Okay.
Just because I own the place doesn't mean I run the place.
Fair enough.
so
Right.
just to make sure we're all on the same page, we have something to present the Baroness for Henri.
Right.
Is that the template you're going to use to handle others?
I think it'd be only fair if we run into Henri's type of situation again for anybody else who arrives. Give them a fair shake, unless they are just irredeemable. You know, like if they're just a whirling dervish where they're just massacring people, I'm not okay with that, obviously. But someone like him, where if he can focus on taking out the trash, you know, and it doesn't just destroy the masquerade here, because that's rough. We've already dealt with that. Then makes sense that we just kind of, you know, beat that same drum.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page on this. I didn't want to find out that Henri was the exception to a rule we were going to establish on that particular object.
I think it would need to be, you know, on a case by case basis, but I like that there is an option that we can take in cases where if this is the only way that we can live together, at least there's a way.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure. Other than that, Is there anyone else that I am unaware of in this environment that fits this particular description?
Hmm. I don't think so. I think everyone else in town has a pretty good control of themselves.
Okay, I
Seems
just
like it.
wanted to be sure because now would be the time to put it all in one package if it was.
Right.
Okay.
I think that would do it.
Okay, alrighty. Ben's got his stuff. You're going to take this young kindred under your wing
That's right.
in the absence of the ladies, so that solves that particular issue. Um, I cannot think of anything else at this point. Oh, and while you're away, I assume I will continue making my patrols of the downtown area, Ben?
That'd be great, and I'll let Mr. Vidius know that he can reach out to you while I'm away in case he finds anything strange with his animals.
Okay.
Excellent.
Miss Trudy? We're all good on
No news on my end.
And lastly would be Danny.
I forgot he was here.
Yeah, I obviously had him sit in the background because I'm not going to
Yeah.
attempt to talk to NPCs around you guys. Yeah, what's up?
Is everything good on your front outside of Henri? There's no sign of intrusions that would be disturbing to you?
No, everything's good at the bar, and I ain't seen nothing out of the ordinary around town.
Okay. The
As
reason
far as
I
I know.
mention that is because absinthe and malice is not under my control in any way, shape, or form. And if they decide to cross that invisible line, I need to know about it.
Who's
Who's they?
Paul, the other Setite who's announced himself in the city and thus brought a horde of lesser Setites into the city?
I don't know no Paul, but okay. All right.
He
Well,
will desire to expand into things like fights, drugs, and maybe the occasional missing person.
okay. Well, we'll keep our papers popping.
Okay.
this Paul? He's different from Mr. Dahan, or
No, I'm sorry, same person.
Gotcha.
What was his first name? It was Michael, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't have him in my notes. It must have
That's
been.
just me expressing my opinion of him.
So,
All right.
so Mr. Dahan is now in charge of your club.
He took my reprimand of certain activities poorly and went above my head to achieve that goal. Yes.
We gonna have trouble from him?
Eventually, without a doubt.
Huh. Do you know what type of trouble we should be expecting and preparing for?
Well, I could suspect certain things, but then I'm going to, for lack of better wording, compromise some other issues so I can say something in regards to it because of Danny and what he owns as a way of warning without crossing those lines. But going much beyond that is not something I can do with any degree of comfort. Should there be an issue, say resolving unexplained activities that appear to be possibly orientated that way, I could respond directly to the Baroness or the sweeper as part of my arrangement with them.
All right.
And this is my way, of course, of being indirect, but I lack the ability to go much further without breaching what the arrangement is.
All right, then. If there's anything we need to know, of course, I mean,
Well, it would be simpler if Trish was still around. However, lacking that particular anchor point, I will endeavor to find other ways to be communicative.
got it.
Hmm.
All right, then.
1 second, I'm looking something up. Because I believe, Stephen, you just walked yourself into a path check.
Yep. I was afraid that was going to happen, but I can't ignore the arrangement I made with the Baroness either in certain areas. I'm like,
Okay. So you need to roll your conviction.
okay.
Canine Chronicles all path o'clock.
Yeah.
Yes, you're going to need to roll your convictions. Where it is at, it would be, we're going to say it's a 7.
Conviction. I'm looking it up. Okay.
Yep.
It's a 7.
You
All
have
right.
Uno die.
Yep, I know.
Oh, boy.
And let me go to Discord. And open Discord. Thought I was going to get away without rolling today.
Yeah, that's weird. None of us have really made rolls today.
We can fix that.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Slash. No, not dot. Slash. Thank you. And R.
This is going to be the MM one, actually.
Yes.
It's a /MM.
Yeah. And syntax is 10. And oh wow.
No.
Damn.
You rolled a pool of 10. You only have 1 die.
Yeah. Sorry.
So you have to go /MM1/7. Or not slash, sorry. Space 7.
Just space 7. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Nope.
Okay. We have a sound bite for that.
Failure.
So, all right. So, with that, you need to lower your path rating by 1.
Mm-hmm.
And you are, I mean, obviously you feel that loss at that point because you have violated one of the core tenets
Yep.
to your god set.
Yep.
You basically threw him under the bus, backed up, and rolled back on over in public to outsiders.
Oh, boy.
Very interesting.
So keep that in mind.
Yep. Knew it was going to happen sooner or later.
Yeah.
Too many points of conflict.
All right. Well, if that's it, everybody, thanks for joining. Yeah, Johnny.
Yeah.
If you've got your stuff, I need to make a quick trip over to Forfeit here. There's a couple people I know. I'll introduce you to them.
Sure.
Need to
Yeah.
Did
have a convo with them.
did you fill him in on the menu here?
No, right. By the way, if you ever need a drink and it needs to be easy, you can come here. They know you now. Go up to one of the servers and let them know you'd like something from the allergen-free menu.
Ooh. Okay.
And they'll get you a drink, especially for our kind.
Nice. Wow. Man, this is the easy life.
Just-
No more hunting.
Well,
Wow.
just keep in mind it's a finite resource.
Oh.
So don't always depend on it, but in a pinch.
Hey, Jerome,
Yes.
I don't quickly see how you recover path traits. Do you remember?
Well, you do path-related things.
Yep. Okay.
It's a role play, yeah.
Yep. Humanity
that's
is
pulling-
obviously
pulling teeth.
Humanity is obviously a lot easier because it's like, oh, well, it's Christmas time. I'm going to give out presents to everybody, and they're going to be heartfelt, and I'm being cheesy on purpose, but
Right.
Yeah.
you know,
Well, that's going to make things interesting. I think I may have to relocate to another city for a day or two.
I hear Salem's nice this time of year.
All right. Well, take it easy, everybody. Johnny, let's head out.
Sure, yeah. And I'll follow him out. Nice to meet you, Danny. Apologies. And yeah, he'll walk out.
Okay, I'm sorry. You said something to Danny. I heard a yeehaw
Yeah.
from the chat because.
Oh,
You apologize.
Shelley put, okay.
yeah, I apologize to Danny.
No worries.
Miss Judy, it was nice to meet you.
Welcome to
So
Ashland, Mr. John.
Danny just nods.
Night,
that
Grievous.
works. Okay. I'm going to make arrangements to spend some time with Danny
Okay.
and exercise some of those instincts that aren't human friendly.
Well, if that's all, then I'll see you gentlemen next time.
Okay.
Okay.
Take care.
So
And
then.
Trudy will exit.
Okay, so then that is where we're going to stop for the day for game. That's a full little over 2 hours in. So as far as the jaunt up to Salem,
Yeah.
if you guys are available via text, we can resolve, at least part of that or get that underway or whatnot in chat, like Discord chat or wherever.
Sure.
To expand on that. So our next game coming up is next week, and that is on Friday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It'll be our Ashland by Night game. And then on that Saturday, so next Saturday, at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard, or Mountain Standard Time, sorry, will be our Marvel Superheroes Modern Age Heroes game. Bum, bum, bum. So looking forward to those. Thank you to everybody who hung out with us and chatted and had a good time. So yeah, and we will be catching you again next time. Good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye all.